What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, Connor on chain. I'll put myself down here. Let's cover a bunch of stuff in the market, guys. We've had very random coins deciding to move over the last day or so. The last couple days, we've had giga nukes across the board. Majors, Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, everything decided to take a little bit of a dip. Let's cover everything here. So, like I've said a few times on the channel too, I've been kind of expecting one way or the other for Bitcoin. It's like we're either going to come down a bit and maybe test into the previous support area here, which technically with this dip is actually very bullish for Bitcoin. I think it makes it into a more healthy structure for us to then push higher again if we're going to. But overall, Bitcoin structure, even though it has dipped, like I said, looks very good. But ETH here too. ETH actually, on the other hand, is rejecting very, very hard. This is where if you guys were watching the ETH chart, I think, what was it, literally yesterday? Or yeah, 31st, August 1st, 2nd. I was going to say Bitcoin. Ethereum kept dipping. Every 4 hours was just a new close, even lower. And it actually broke structure from where I initially thought it would hold. So this is where I've been kind of waiting and watching. Technically, right now, it is retested into resistance. From a technical standpoint, this actually could turn into bearish Ethereum price action here. But I mean, in this market, as always, Bitcoin is going to be leading until dominance decides to giga nuke and we start to see everything actually start moving. So what I'm waiting for now is because I was been watching for this break and it ended up happening. So now it's going to be what kind of momentum is ETH building from the downside? Is it going to be building up into then pushing again higher? And then is it going to push into bearish momentum to continue downside? Basically showing us that yes, it is fully rejecting here and we're going to go way lower. Or is this building up to be some sort of liquidity grab or something like that? Or just a classic sell-off, heavy sell-off right before we actually attempt to then finally break out. Because Ethereum is known to do, not even ETH, just crypto markets. They just do the most ridiculous moves sometimes. So that's what I'm watching for. Like I said, we take it day by day, watching these charts. Solana still holding bullish, in my personal opinion. I mean, you can kind of draw some sort of support trend line, if you will. Still looks very good as long as this general area is held for Sol. I would think it is still going to maintain fairly bullish, even if it comes down a little lower and then decides to start moving up. Still would be a good uptrend. But again, that's where I'm watching ETH right now. Hopefully we see this momentum start to curl back up. Because we got major players bidding ETH like crazy. I don't think they're trying to buy ETH up here to then sell for a loss at some point in 2025. That's how I look at it. And still waiting on ETH to just break this resistance. Like, come on. That's what we're watching for. And let's cover a little bit of alts now. So, as you guys are fairly aware, if you've seen my channel, I'm very bullish on Base. Base coins specifically, I think, continue to make a killing in the market. So let me see here, because I put these posts out. So we got main base plays as of lately. So Ray, Zora, and Mamo. These three I think are very strong at the moment. Ray, as you guys know, if you've seen the channel for the last couple months on and off, Ray has been one of the most bullish charts in the entire market. It is held through any and every dip, doesn't stop, and it's actually going to continue. As long as the momentum continues, yes, we might, bounce again, but I think this is probably going to hold the general zone around its all-time high now that it's up here and holders still are not selling. So it's probably going to chop right around all-time high for a while and then maybe take off. But again, it also, of course, depends on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and what majors want to do short term. So keep this in mind with basically any and every coin. Zora, guys, I personally have jumped in a little bit. Or a little bit, yeah. I've bought a little more, rather. From riding this out to the upside, letting it swing down. I am very bullish on Zora going forward. I think any major dip on Zora right now is actually going to be a gift. I mentioned that on Twitter, I think a couple times over the last few days. I think Zora will continue. It's going to be pushed heavy by base. The actual base team it's free marketing for it. It is kind of the social infrastructure layer underneath the entire base app. So I don't think it's going to slow down. Yes, and like I've said, it will pull back. It will chop. This happens with every single coin that goes on a multi-billion-dollar run. I'm not saying Zora will go to billions, but if there is a coin that was going to in this market right now, it likely will be this coin. I'm telling you right now. There's almost no other coin that has the kind of potential to take off like Zora can. Again, not financial advice, but like I said, I've added more of Zora and will continue to hold it. So I'm not going to bring up some of these other ones. This one specifically, guys, Launchcoin has been one I have been watching very, very heavy. Launchcoin has been looking very strong lately. I think there's going to be a lot of updates coming sooner than later. I have a feeling this could be some sort of bottom. And like I said, I think this ecosystem, I've said it for months. The last couple months, the projects that are being launched through this eco, a lot of them literally, it just doesn't compare to a lot of these other narratives out there, I swear. ICM stuff will go ballistic at some point. I have full faith in it. Do I have full faith in Launchcoin and the guy behind it and the team yet? Not fully. But that doesn't mean that, this narrative at some point won't take off. I fully think it will. But this has got to find a bottom, and I guarantee once it does, this will start really moving back into 100 million, 150 million fairly quickly. So this is one I'm personally watching incredibly hard right now. Another new one, guys, is actually Mamo. Mamo is showing a lot of strength on base. And I know I said base coins. Launch coins on Solana. It's actually not a base coin. I'm just bringing this up because our watch list, most of the coins have been going pretty well lately. But Mamo's been a new one we've recently added. Very strong fundamentals. This is also going to be integrated within the base app. A good chunk of supply is actually staked right now. It is a very simple application, a UI, great branding. Everything about Mamo, in my personal opinion, can take this at a minimum towards its all-time high, maybe further. Not financial advice, guys. I think this is a great project. I've had this on my radar probably since down here, and I don't know why. I personally never bought in, but I think it was a good dip. Chart looks very good on a 4-hour, a higher time frame. I think this is going to continue. So I'm watching Mamo, and I'm holding Mamo. Launchcoin I do not hold right now, but like I've said, I'm very much so thinking about adding to it sooner than later. So BitTensor, guys, chart-wise has been looking kind of odd. I can't lie. To me, it doesn't change any sort of conviction. This is one of the few coins I just rarely actually even look at my balance. I don't even care. I'm just waiting for this thing to just finally run, because I know it will at some point. Just with how strong the fundamentals are behind it. It's just a patience game right now with a lot of stuff. So anyways, outside of some of these other coins, like I've said and tweeted, Ray, Zora, and Mamo I think are great base plays at the current moment. But then also too, guys, I want to pull up the #1 soul meme in the market. As you guys know, I've had this in my bio. I've had this as my PFP for almost 2 months now. And Mask is finally starting to move. It has been on a huge run. Oh, I mean, I say huge run. In all honesty, it hasn't even started moving yet. But it's finally flipped into a bullish trend again. I think it's done chopping. It has been going down and sideways for a long time. It's finally coming up. I have a feeling we will reject around this area, just this previous level. Probably will come down, chop a little bit, but it's going to maintain its bullish momentum. And I guarantee within a few weeks to even a month from now, I think this is going to be well past its all-time high. It's I've mentioned this one on the channel for a while. It's when I have conviction in something, I will just continuously bull post it. I will talk about it on and off. It's like I'm not touching it, I'm not selling it. The first part of our thesis with Mask is just getting it to previous all-time high. It's still not even close to that yet. We're still what? About 100% away from that, maybe a little more. If you guys are DCAing in with us, the group, myself, if you watch the channel and we're jumping in very slow DCAing, technically you still got a couple, or if you're already in, you got a couple X's until we start taking off. And I've brought this up too. This is playing out very similarly. So I've adjusted the, our meme strategy. If you guys are familiar, I'll link a video above as well, so you can watch this and understand what this stuff means. But Mask has gone through the appreciation phase, the hype phase, the initiation phase, whatever you want to call it, but I call it the appreciation or hype phase. Went through the capitulation phase where everyone that got in very early ends up selling, taking profits, and then this reaccumulation phase. Technically, I would put this whole area, but because over the last month it's kind of consolidated into this general smaller area, this is where I was telling everyone this is going to be the accumulation range for this. And it looks like it's starting to push higher. Like I said, with this, I technically would put this probably up here. So it is kind of towards the top of an accumulation range. But I mean, just in the last couple days alone, guys, if you in a week, this is up already 100 something percent, which is great. Again, has not even started yet. And I'll show you guys another example of why. We have had a bunch of different cults on Solana. Aztec was a perfect example. And then another one too was Troll, yet again. I feel like I bring this up constantly. Let's go to a 4-hour, because Aztec was the same thing. So this one I did not call. I've literally the only meme coin I hold right now on Solana is Mask. As far as high conviction, good sizing, aside from a couple degen stuff. But we got all three phases playing out. I'll put the colors in a second. Aztec launched, capitulated, and what did it do? It sat sideways again for months. Even if you want to bring this out, it attempted to run here, came back into the range, and now is actually pushing higher. Aztec, like I said, that's a great example. And again, I don't hold this. I was never holding this. But it's just the idea of the strategy playing out, guys. This is how you play meme coins. If I have to say this in every single video so you guys understand how to play meme coins correctly and not lose everything by aping into a top on a new launch and then watching it nuke 70%, I will keep doing it. But even if you put it here, and then it came back in, whatever. Technically, this is not actually fully played out yet. I want to see a push, mainly another push straight into all-time highs, breaking all-time highs, and running at least a little bit past all-time highs. For me, there's no actual strategy to say, oh, it's going to pull 50 or a 3x from the previous high. You just have to let the runners run and see how the momentum does once they blow past the all-time high. And usually, if you even want to play the strategy out, if you're buying into the lows, into the accumulation range, sell initials once it hits previous all-time high, let the bag go, let it run. I don't care if it takes a couple months for this to even play out. That's how you can make some gains in this market for memes. Another one. Like I said, guys, Troll is at a holy crap. This thing is flying. Again, this was not a call, but I've mentioned this as well with our strategy multiple times. Same thing. Went up, went down, and accumulated for what? About 2 months. Until when? Until it decided to absolutely fucking print. So again, shout out to anyone who got into Troll. This was a phenomenal play and exactly to strategy. And same thing, you can put the range anywhere you want. But what I do is as time goes on, a coin will continue to accumulate. And wherever the ranges touch on both the lows and the highs, generally will end up turning into the range. And then once it starts breaking out, that is when you can then create the green box, basically pushing things into another leg higher. Personally, I don't know why I didn't buy Troll. This was the only other cult initially I was watching with Mask at the time. And of course Aztec too. Like I said, guys, this is literally the exact strategy playing out. So it's great to see that Troll got that push because I saw them grinding it out on Twitter as well for literally since May. Same thing. This is what happens with cult communities. And we are starting to see this happen with Mask. I think it's, like I said, it still hasn't even fully started yet. Aside from a little more chop, a little more volatility, this is probably going to range until it just blows through its all-time high. I know for a fact it's coming. I've said this many times. Another reason too is we've had market-wide fucking launchpad wars. And what happened with the Bonk eco? Oh, for a week, Bonk is the best fucking thing. Everyone's super bullish on it. But they don't understand it's just hype. It's all hype. That's how this market works. It's narratives. And now what are people rotating back to? Not even the fact that they're rotating to pump coins. I don't care if it's pump, Bonk, Jupiter, Orca, whatever the fuck, launchpad. They're going back into cult coins that have been accumulating and ranging for months. Like Aztec, like Troll, like Mask, and probably a couple others that I'm not even mentioning. We got another one called Neat. Shout out to Elo in our group. He's been bullish on Neat for a long time. That one's probably going to keep going too. And shout out to Mog, of course. So that's what I wanted to bring up with Mask, because Mask has been starting to move, and that's great to see. You know, it was inevitable. It's still one of the best cults I've ever seen on Solana that is launched in 2025. Mog continues to dominate, even though it is down bad, still holding these ranges. As long as this doesn't really break fully out of this, uptrend, I am still bullish on Mog. I mean, regardless, nothing to me is changing for this coin. It's going to come down to ETH for anything like Pepe, Mog, and any OG ETH memes that have been here for a while. It's the same thing. It's going to be the same thing for all of them. Once ETH decides to just go like this, just print, again, not guaranteed, but if ETH just does that, any single project, I don't care what it is, whether it's Mog or Pepe and whatever ETH beta memes you like, all of them are going to do the same thing but print, probably a 2 or 3x versus ETH moving up, 50, 60%? So that's really all you got to keep in mind for something like that. But in the market today, that is what I wanted to cover, guys. Just a little bit of base, a little bit of memes, but also, too, last thing is, for me lately, Virtual Protocol. I have been losing conviction in this project now for probably a few weeks, I would say. And again, I mentioned it on Twitter too. I said, not because price go down. I don't care whether a project is up or down. Fundamentally, if I think something looks good and has a good angle on the market, I'm in. It's like look at Zora, guys. I was bullish on Zora all the way in May, and it nuked for a while. I don't care what the price is of a coin. If the fundamentals line up, they line up to me. But with Virtual, I'm losing conviction with the entire ecosystem. Even though there's a couple agents that I'm actually watching still that are pretty bullish, I just want to keep moving with the market. I think what's coming next still is going to be Zora continuing some upside here. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's like I own up to it. Not that I don't care, but it's like I'm fully transparent. I'm honest with people. Like if I'm wrong and Zora does not go up, it's like I will own that, But with Virtual, I just don't really believe in, I guess, the ecosystem as much as I used to. So there's been a lot of drama, a lot of BS going on lately, which I don't deal with it. Second I see that stuff, I'm kind of out. But I think too also just, I guess with their virgin launches, whatever you want to call them, I think too, people are kind of losing faith in those launches, which, it is what it is. For the time being, if you got into those launches, you obviously made very good gains. I think the people that are hating on those launches now are just mad that they're down on some of their holdings. Maybe they didn't sell, something like that. Like, I see both sides of it, but, even for devs that have been building for months in Virtual that couldn't take advantage of the launches, a lot of those are still sideways. Lots of stuff going on here. I don't personally see some crazy resolution happening anytime soon. But, yeah, so I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention because I guess to me it's kind of an end of an era with virtual. I mean, maybe in a few weeks, in a month or two, I'll be looking back into it, but for now, it's just I'm focusing on a lot of different other projects. And like I said, even Mamo though, Mamo is a virtual agent. Like there's a handful of agents that I'm still bullish on, but it's just the entire ecosystem itself is. I feel like I'm kind of slowing down on even focusing on it lately. Like I said, watching on some of these coins right now, Launch Coin I'm watching very heavy. I don't hold it. Zora I'm watching very heavy. Ray I'm in very heavy. Mamo I'm now in recently heavy. Been watching it for a long time. And same thing, guys. Mask I think is just starting its run. This is why too I love to say have fun in the market. For me, yes, I love utility, of course, especially revenue generating stuff. That's I think it's like guaranteed print if you can find good projects at low market caps that are generating good revenue, that are on really good dips, or just bottomed out, that are just slept on right now. Those are going to be very good plays long term. But also memes, guys. You got to enjoy the market. Like for me, it's like if I'm just bored, I will just shit post on Twitter. Just respond to people, just mask post basically. Like that's why I like memes and utility, because there is a way to profit off of both. Yes, it could be in fairly different ways, but memes to me make the market 10 times more fun. Especially too, it's like if you got a coin that you believe in and you hold it for a few months and you watch it end up finally ripping, that's like the best feeling. Because you basically are getting paid to shit post on Twitter. That's how I look at it too. It's just fun. That's why I like both. Stick with cult meme coins, organic stuff. Do not just ape into random fucking shit launches, guys. But that is what I wanted to cover. Just a little update. And this was bullish too, because Mask, depending on where you look, it was up 50% today, 50% yesterday. But yeah, get used to this for real. But that's what I wanted to cover. Lots of different stuff will be coming soon for the channel. More videos. But as of right now, that is what I got for you guys. I appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.